America's longest-running pregame show, direct from Las Vegas, Proline. Featuring Glenn McGrew, who has racked up 55 units of profit over the past month and is releasing his Pro Football Game of the Year today. And Scott Spreitzer, who is now on a 5-1 Game of the Year run with 2 more big winners last week and has his college countdown of the year set to fire this morning. And Dave Koken, who is now on a 16-2 run with his Under the Hat releases and is providing everyone with 5 of these big games this weekend. And world champion handicapper Jim Feist, who is undefeated the last 2 weeks with his Proline offers and is providing another 5-game bankroll builder this week completely free of charge. And now, here's your host, longtime national sports analyst and commentator, Al Bernstein.
Good Saturday morning and welcome back to Week 6 here on Proline, the nation's longest-running handicapping show. I'm Al Bernstein, and we've got 4 great football games to talk about this week. But first, let's talk about some of the ideas that are presented to us in black and white with no gray in between. Bold statements that turn out to be just wrong.
I'm going to give you an example from years ago. There was, we called it the post system, where people would take the, I think it was the New York Post, and they'd look at what all the handicappers had in there as a consensus picks, and they'd go against them, figuring that the media really overreacts to everything that's going on the field from one week to the next, and they pick wrong, and you 80% are going against them. Now, I don't know if that system works anymore, but basically, the media-driven, what we're sold by the media, and they're not doing it intentionally, but they overreact to things. Like, for example, last week, Dallas crushes Philadelphia. So Dallas is now better than Philadelphia. It's not going to work that way. Well, we're fed that all along. I mean, Joe Paterno years ago should have retired. He's now 5-0. The New England Patriots can't possibly win. They've lost all their defenders. They go down to Atlanta and they win.
And USC is the best college football team of all time, which, by the way, is the 3rd straight year we've had a best football team of all time. Oklahoma, for each of the last 2 years, was the best college football team of all time. Interesting, they got destroyed at the end of the season in both games,
because
and now USC is the best.
The New England Patriots wore Kansas State's uniforms is what must have happened, because Oklahoma was the best team of all time to lose 35-7 in their conference championship and then get dusted in the BCS championship also. And you mentioned Joe Paterno. I mean, here's a guy that everybody had written off. I mean, here's a guy who's been treated and beat up like a dog by the media over the years. What does he do? He goes out, recruits speed. The guy's back on top. They lose this week. He's a bum again.
Yeah.
That's typical of media. Of course, at the beginning of the season, what did they say? The San Francisco 49ers, they were horrible. And it wasn't just injuries, it was a horrible football team. Well, what happens? Wait a minute, they were actually right for a change. They are horrible. Let's try the Houston Texans. Media darlings, if you're going to look at a squad, seriously, a squad that was expected to really improve in their 3rd or 4th year, and Houston, boy, it's just been a disaster down there for them.
All right, well, I know one statement I can make with a great deal of assurity. We'll be back with a Big 12 matchup featuring Kansas State and Texas Tech. Don't go away.
The Proline free pick phone is available for winners daily. Just call toll-free to 1-888-294-1970 for red-hot winners from world champion handicapper Jim Feist, Smokin' Dave Koken, Smashmouth handicapper Scott Spreitzer, and Glenn McGrew. All free on a recorded message when you call toll-free to 1-888-294-1970. That's 1-888-294-1970. Call today, call tomorrow, win all week long.
If you want winners, I've got them, as we swept again with last week's Proline offer and undefeated the last 2 weeks. Today, we get ready for my upcoming college football game of the year with another free bankroll builder. Call right now, toll-free, 1-888-260-8339, and win with my college Inner Circle game of the month and a huge TV parlay, all free on a recorded message. And stay on the line for details on how you can cash in on 2 more big game of the year winners absolutely free. We're going 5-0 again this week. Call 1-888-260-8339 now.
We're glad you're here with us today. Now we're going to talk Big 12 football next, Kansas State and Texas Tech. But first we'll turn our attention to Primetime's Glenn McGrew. Now the Eagles came up short on Sunday, but his free offer featured both his college and pro dogs of the month, both getting the money. In fact, over the last month, his clients have garnered over 55 units of profit, Glenn, tomorrow is huge for you.
It is. Let's not forget Monday night. 5 consecutive Monday night winners for you. You know, Al's right. I've been on a great run over the last 30 days. You know, sometimes you just get into a groove where it seems like every game you look at already has a final score next to it. Well, that's where I am right now, zeroed in, focused, and naturally incredibly confident. And now I'm ready to release my biggest pro call of the entire season for you. The last 4 weeks, it's been big win after big win as I've piled up 55 units of profit for my Gridiron clients, and the winning will continue today. You've got my college parlay of the month. And then on Sunday, my pro game of the year. It's all there right now on my $20 power play line. Numbers 1-900-622-7200 or go to jimfeisports.com. Let's run the ride here.
All right, stick with Glenn. You know, Kansas State beat Kansas in their last game 12-3. That put them at 4-1. But they made so many mistakes in the process that they don't go into this match with Texas Tech with too much momentum. And as for Tech, well, they're still undefeated, but just barely after blowing a 21-point lead before getting a last-second win over Nebraska. Sorry, Scott. Since Texas Tech is involved, gentlemen, I'm guessing we're going to see a little passing in this ballgame.
Well, Mike, Bleach has never seen a pass he didn't like. He's going to throw everything up there. And Cody Hodge gets it done. He's 17 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. You know, the Kansas State, their offensive line is just decimated. They've had 4 or 5 injuries on the offensive line since the beginning of spring practice. Texas Tech is going to roast this team. It's
weakness versus weakness. Yeah. You got the Kansas State offensive line that you just mentioned that suffered yet another injury last week against the Texas Tech front 7 on defense. That ain't too hot. I like Mike Leach. I saw an interview last week. Don't know if you guys saw it. He does not have a playbook. There is no playbook. One of 2 guys in the country that has no playbook, him and Hal Mummy. And I tell you what, they just go out and get it done. But what they're going to learn from last week, being up 21-0 and almost losing the game, they've got to get Henderson, a great running back, more touches when they build a lead and kind of run that clock down a little bit. It's a tough game to call as far as I'm concerned. I lean towards Texas Tech in this one. But be careful. K-State's got that freshman, Alan Everidge, who's probably going to get a lot of time at quarterback this week.
How's he going to get protection? That's the problem. Their offensive line is a disaster. The fact is, this Texas Tech team, they're a monster as a home favorite. They're 16-5 in this role. They not only beat teams, they beat them up in Lubbock. It's a rabid home crowd. They get very excited. I think Texas Tech rolls in this game. I don't think there's anything the Wildcats can do to stem the tide.
Maybe a different Texas Tech team this season. Well, next up, a big game in the SEC. Florida travels to LSU. We'll have that in a moment.
I was 16-2, grab you. My under-the-hat college plays are on a 9-2 run, and I'm a perfect 7-0 for the season on the pro side. Call 1-900-656-1050 or visit jimfeisports.com, and I'll give you all 5 college and pro under-the-hat selections for only $25. Plus, I'll tell you how to get my college game of the month free. This is a great shot to make a serious score this weekend. So get involved at 1-900-656-1050 or at jimfeisports.com.
My college countdown of the year goes today. Hi, I'm Scott Spreitzer with my biggest college countdown of the season. We picked up 2 more Game of the Year winners last week with Colorado and Dallas crushing the line maker. Call me now and receive 5 big college winners, including 2 Games of the Year, a conference Game of the Month, and a code that gets my Monday Night Football Game of the Month free. Go 5-0 in college by calling 1-900-438-8385, only $25. You make the call, I count them down, you count the cash.
I found the game. That's right. After seeing the early lines on this week's Pro Action, one contest literally jumped off the screen. A game with a posted number that's an unbelievable 5 points off my own line. A matchup that has all the key ingredients I look for when releasing the biggest selection of the entire season. It's my Pro Game of the Year. It comes along with my Playbook College Parlay of the Month. It's all right now on my $20 power play line. The number 1-900-622-7200 or simply go to jimfeisports.com.
Welcome back to this edition of Proline. Now, in a moment, our panel is going to talk about 2 teams, Florida and LSU, who have very high-profile first-year coaches this season. But first, we'll turn to Dave Koken. Last Saturday's offer disappointed, but his bonus under-the-hat winner won with UCLA, pushing his under-the-hat run to 9-2-1 in college action. And how about this? 7-0 in the pros, and if my addition is right, Dave, that's 16-2 combined.
Well, yeah, that's not too shabby. The only thing that's disappointed me at all is I'm 3-3 on my conference games of the year. Everything else is just winning a ton. up well over 240 net units in college and pro football this season. The under-the-hat run Al just told you about, I'm perfect for the season on the pro side. And these are plays that normally sell for at least $50 each, either at JimFightSports.com or on my 900 numbers. But this week I've got 5 under-the-hat plays, 3 today and 2 tomorrow. And I'm going to give you all 5 of them for just 25 bucks. That's $5 a piece. And these are very strong plays, these under-the-hat releases. Call and get all 5 now, 1-900-656-1050, or go to JimFightSports.com. You'll also be told how you can get my college game of the month completely free as a bonus. And these bonus plays have been dynamite. So be sure and be on board as this hot run continues.
All right, you know, now Florida is sitting at 5-1 right now, but they still haven't shown the potent offense that Urban Meyer usually brings at each stop with him. And they may need it this week against LSU, which amazingly, how about this? They finally played a game last week that was not postponed, delayed, or moved because of Hurricane Katrina. So the 3-1 Tigers and their new coach, Les Miles, would love to bag a big win against the Gators.
I'll tell you, you see, one of the reasons I think Urban Meyer is such an excellent coach is he's willing to make changes. He just doesn't have the right personnel to run that spread offense. They're kind of reeling that back in a little bit so that Chris Lee can do what he does best, which is pass in the pocket. I think Florida's going to get their share of points in this game. I think LSU's going to get their share of points as well. They're a good offensive club. I like this one to go over the total, high-scoring SEC game.
I'm going to question, David, just how many points Florida's going to put on the board. This LSU defensive line is super. A lot of experience, 3 seniors, 1 junior. They've held teams to 62 yards per game rushing. I tell you what, this means Leak, who really can't carry a ball club all by himself. He has 4 interceptions the last 2 weeks. He's going to have to go without really much help from the running game here. Just a couple weeks ago, they faced Tennessee, a team with similar defensive line talent as LSU, and they didn't manage to run for even 2 yards a carry. I think LSU's the side in the game.
I agree with you on this one. And Chris Leak, you know, here's a guy, we were talking about the way the media runs with something with what they see. You know, Chris Leak had this real nice start to the season. He is a drop-back passer. He's not a spread option type of quarterback. But the bottom line was they were saying he was the best drop-back passer, or one of the top 3 or 4 in the country, which is hogwash. I mean, Chris Leak is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. I think he has a real tough time getting anything going in this game. He's got a 1-to-4 touchdown to INT ratio the last couple of games, and I think that LSU defense is going to be strong here. They won't let up like they did against Tennessee.
Interesting. Good SEC contest to take a look at. Now, let's go to the streets of Las Vegas and hear from Lake Tahoe's Bob Donahue.
Thanks, Al. This week, the Gators travel to Baton Rouge for a key SEC contest. Florida's off a sluggish win against Mississippi State, and Chris Lee continues to struggle grasping all of Urban Meyer's spread offense. On the other side of the ball, I feel LSU has the best talent of any team in the country, and quarterback Jamarcus Russell, off a 20-for-23 performance against Vandy, is getting better and better. This week, the Gators turn into Bengal Tiger bait as LSU gets the home cover, and viewers, my big game offers here on Proline are undefeated on the season. And today, we're cranking it up a notch with my college game of the year. That's the biggest release of the entire college season, and you can cash in on this 3-touchdown winner for just $19 when you call 1-900-776-3030. That's my college game of the year, plus a pair of personal service winners from Sunday's Pro Action. All 3 games guaranteed to win, or the next 4 weeks of Advantage plays are free. Go 3-0 and win with my college game of the year. Call 1-900-776-3030 now. Back to you, Al.
All right, thanks a lot. Now, next up, after a break, we're going to turn to the pros. It's the Giants and the Cowboys. Stay where you are.